Now, much of our area is under a snow emergency. How much longer you can expect it to last. And we'll show you how members of our community are enjoying the first real snow of the season. Plus, it might be difficult to bike right now, but see how a local organization is getting a head start on its 2020 collection.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
Thanks for joining News 3 Now at 6. I'm Amanda Quintana. We're seeing freezing rain and snow mixing tonight, and that's making the roads pretty slippery. We have team coverage tonight. Gabriela Becerra is live at Elver Park with how people are enjoying this weekend's snowfall. But we start with meteorologist Dana Fulton out on the weather patio with what we're seeing now and how much more snow to expect tonight.
So we have the second round of snow passing through right now. Flurries currently in Madison, but this is still going to bring about another ½ of an inch of accumulation through the next few hours. That's just in the central area of Dane County. Looking at our high-resolution Doppler, you can see the heavier snowfall is to the east and the southeast right now around Janesville and parts of Rock County. They do have a few stronger bands coming through. So this is just stacking on top of the snow that already came through last night, ramping up our totals as we head towards the end of this event for tonight. So there is still a winter storm warning in effect for Rock and Jefferson County. Greene, Dodge, and Dane counties are now under a winter weather advisory. The roads are still slick. We're just kind of scaling back the amount of snow we were initially expecting to come on through. Nonetheless, still need to be careful on those roads and sidewalks as things are still a little slick outside. Snow's going to wrap up here in the next few hours. We'll take a closer look at our next opportunity for some light flurries coming through in just a few minutes. Amanda?
Thank you, Dana. Across the country, at least 8 people have died as a result of storms on the eastern half of the U.S. In Louisiana, a severe storm destroyed a house last night with an elderly couple found dead nearby. A firefighter and police officer were killed in a crash in Lubbock, Texas early this morning while dealing with other crashes on the highway. And hundreds of flights have been canceled or delayed at O'Hare International Airport in Chicago. And in Milwaukee, slick roads led to a crash involving a Department of Public Works salt truck. Officials say the driver was taken to the hospital. A major curving road and slick pavement were factors in that crash. The Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office asked drivers to stay off portions of the highway for over 5 hours this morning due to several accidents. In our area, multiple cities across Dane County, including Madison and Sun Prairie, have declared snow emergencies. And as the second part of the storm moves in, Dane County Executive Joe Parisi is asking people to take caution on the roads as travel may be difficult.
Big concern moving forward with the storm coming in is going to be that blowing and drifting. It's going to be a light snow. And when we combine that with the fact that we got a fair amount of ice last night on a number of our roads, we are urging people to exercise extreme caution.
Parisi says that ice created challenges for the snow plows last night and heading into today. About 60 snow plows have been on the road sanding, salting, and scraping the ice off the road.
Interstate, the Beltline, some of those roads are going to clear up and be really good, but as you get to some of the other roads that are east-west roads, the wind and some of those places that are ice are going to be rapidly changing conditions.
The county is asking that drivers be respectful of the snow plows by giving them plenty of space and not passing them in tight situations. And he says it's important for neighbors to look out for each other tonight and check in on those who may be vulnerable. While our area is under a snow emergency, for many in our community, they're just excited. It's starting to feel like winter outside. Gabriela Becerra joins us live at Elver Park in Madison with a look at how some are celebrating this snow. Gabby?
Amanda, the only snow emergency for kids around Madison is the rush to get out and play in it. There's finally enough snow on the ground to bring out the sleds and tubes, and the kids outside of Winger School this morning were doing just that. All you need is snow to have a little fun.
I need to put my feet in these bindings to keep your fish from slipping out of a snowboard.
Oliver is training to become a professional snowboarder on one of Madison's more challenging hills.
That's big and it has big bumps.
Other kids have their tubes and sleds out for a fun day on the hill.
Because you get to be outside and play in the snow with your friends.
Once they woke up this morning, we knew we'd be back at it today.
Amber Otis took her kids sledding this morning.
2-year-old and 4-year-old both like to go all by themselves, so it's more chasing them and making sure they don't hit the fence down there.
It's something she grew up doing and now shares that with her kids.
I grew up by a big sled hill in my hometown, so something that I like doing with them, and we just got some new tubes for Christmas.
And when the fun is over, there's more fun to have inside where it's warm.
Have hot cocoa and a snack.
And if you're looking for a bigger hill to go, tubing down Tyrol Basin is officially open for the season. Amanda, it's finally starting to feel like winter out here.
It definitely is. Thank you so much, Gabby. More local news now. Today's weather didn't stop this morning's free Bikes for Kids collection. The public was asked to drop off gently used bikes to any Merritt or Unity Point Health Clinic. 823 bikes were donated in all. It's the first step in a process that helps refurbish and give away bikes to area youth. Free Bikes for Kids is a nonprofit aimed at creating a sustainable supply of bikes for all kids.
We start now because we collect all the bikes today, bring them into a central warehouse, and then we have hundreds of volunteers come over the next 10 weeks and repair every bike before giving them away at the end of March.
If you couldn't donate today, you can drop them off anytime at the workshop at 2031 Zaire Road. The Lake Mills Police Department welcomed the community to their station today to meet their newest police canine, Truman. Truman is named after Lake Mills Fire Captain Chris Truman, who died after being hit by a car on the side of the Beltline on New Year's Eve in 2018. Tonight on News 3 Now at 10, you'll hear from the officers about how they feel the new canine is honoring their fallen colleague's memory. The man who was killed in a two-vehicle crash in Columbia County yesterday morning has officially been identified. Police say 66-year-old Stephen Riggins of rural Poinet died after an Alliant Energy utility truck failed to stop at a stop sign and hit Riggins' car. Officials say he and his dog, who was inside the car with him, were both found dead at the scene. The Columbia County Sheriff's Office is investigating the crash. Authorities in northern Wisconsin say an elk that was brought to Wisconsin last April died after it ate corn put out by a landowner. The DNR says the animal was found dead on January 2nd from rumen acidosis, a condition that affects deer and elk when their diet is changed too quickly. The elk was brought to Wisconsin from Kentucky last April and released in the Flambeau River State Forest. Officials say the landowner pledged a donation to the state's elk program, but was not cited for a violation. 2 U.S. service members were killed in Afghanistan today when their vehicle struck an improvised explosive device. That's according to the U.S.-led coalition in Kabul. The service members have not been identified. More than 2,400 members have died since the start of the war in 2001. Meanwhile, Iran says it is at fault for a deadly passenger jet crash. Ukrainian Airlines Flight 752 crashed Wednesday after takeoff from Tehran's airport, killing 176 people. Iran calls it a disastrous mistake that was made in response to, quote, U.S. adventurism. Melissa Rainey has the latest.
Iran admitting it mistakenly shot down a Ukrainian Airlines flight Wednesday, killing all 176 people on board. The crash came hours after Iran fired missiles at Iraqi military bases housing U.S. troops. That move in retaliation for a U.S.-ordered drone strike at the Baghdad airport that killed Iranian commander Qassem Soleimani. Iran's foreign minister tweeted Saturday, quote, human error at time of crisis caused by U.S. adventurism led to disaster. Our profound regrets, apologies, and condolences to our people, to the families of all victims, and to other affected nations. One of those affected nations, Canada. 63 Canadians were on board Flight 752.
What Iran has admitted to is very serious. Shooting down a civilian aircraft is horrific. Iran must take full responsibility.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says Canada will assist in the crash investigation. He says both Canada and Iran are committed to bringing closure to the victims' families.
I reiterated to President Rouhani that it is absolutely necessary that Canada participate in this investigation. We expect the full cooperation of Iranian authorities.
Trudeau says members of Canada's Standing Rapid Deployment Team are expected to arrive Saturday to assist the families of Canadian victims. I'm Melissa Rainey reporting.
The commander of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps says the Iranian plane was misidentified as a cruise missile by an air defense operator. There's more on News 3 Now at 6. Trying to get out of a timeshare, Consumer Reports reveals why some timeshare release companies may not deliver what they promise. Next.
For consistent, reliable storm tracking, watch First Alert Weather.
Welcome back. As winter vacations come to an end, you might already be planning ahead for next year. A timeshare might sound like a good option, and buying into them is often pretty easy. But getting out of those contracts can be tricky. That's where timeshare exit companies say they can help. But as Josh Sprider for Consumer Reports reveals, those exit plans are not always foolproof.
For Solomon Choi, purchasing a timeshare in Las Vegas was fast and easy, but getting out of that timeshare, not so much.
When I received the first annual maintenance and renewal bill, I was like, wait, this is a pretty big number.
After 6 years, Solomon says his annual maintenance fees soared to $2,000. That's when he decided he wanted out.
Once you're locked in, you are in for life in terms of these annual renewal and maintenance fees.
Solomon turned to a timeshare exit company. Often they make sweeping promises, including a guarantee that they can get you out of a timeshare contract. But that guaranteed exit often comes with a hefty upfront price. In Solomon's case, he says he paid over $11,000 to exit a company that promised he will be rid of his timeshare once and for all within 18 months. Consumer Reports and others say consumers need to beware of certain timeshare exit companies, some of which have reportedly taken money but offered nothing in return.
We've seen numerous timeshare exit companies guarantee getting consumers out of their timeshare contracts and never end up delivering.
So how can you get out of a timeshare without losing money in the process?
More timeshare companies now have deed-back programs to make it easier for timeshare owners to get out of their contract. You can also hire a realtor who specializes in timeshares. But remember, timeshares are often a depreciating asset, so you should be prepared to take a loss.
The American Resort Development Association says the timeshare industry has worked tirelessly to warn consumers about fraud in the exit industry. ARDA also says the industry is committed to better communicating with owners who want to understand safe timeshare exit options. As for Solomon Choi, he's still waiting to see if his timeshare exit company will hold their end of the deal. For News 3 Now, this is Josh Sprider.
ARDA has launched a public awareness campaign of legitimate exit strategies. You can find out more at responsibleexit.com. Coming up on News 3 Now at 6, after a huge first week for the late winter market at Garver Feed Mill, we'll check in and see how they're accommodating for more people and more parking needs. Plus, find out how much more snow you can expect tonight. Dana has your first look forecast after the break. After last week's farmers market brought in more than 3 times the amount of people than they expected, organizers are working on finding a better solution for parking. With attendance exceeding the typical late winter market attendance of 1,000 people, today officials with the Dane County Farmers Market have people working traffic control. Workers are monitoring parking by holding signs that signal when the Garver Feed Mill lot is full. But despite the heavy increase of traffic last week, the farmers market didn't see nearly as many people today.
The pace today is like far more calm. Last week was like wall-to-wall bodies, you couldn't get through anywhere. It was like, I mean, it was a lot. The pace today is really calm, but a lot of our farmers are saying that they're still making about the same amount of sales.
We had a little trouble finding a place to park. We didn't think it would be as crowded as it is. And then we talked to one of the vendors who said, no, this is dead. Last week it was much, much more crowded, and we were happy to hear that, to see that it's really getting a lot of business.
Organizers are encouraging people to park outside of the feed mill's parking lot or use alternative modes of transportation like biking or walking or using the Route 7 bus. Well, Dana, it seems like the snow might have had a little bit of a play in not as many people being out there today.
I definitely think so. I think it definitely impacted a lot of folks' plans, whether you were canceling plans, having to change plans, or adjust your plans just a little bit, taking the dog out for the walk. Gus here needing his little booties today to make sure that you could handle all the snow that we had on the ground. And that's, of course, the point of us giving all the forecast updates. We got this through Facebook, checking out our video of Gus. I could watch this all day long. We've had so many really cool videos and pictures come through on Facebook and Twitter. You can also send those pictures in through on our weather app, and it's really great to get those boots on the ground, literally in this case, the paws on the ground, how it looks outside, especially in Jadesville last night where we had that freezing rain. So as Gus marches along, do know that we still have a winter weather advisory in effect for Dane County, Greene County, and Dodge County currently. Areas to the west, they've had those advisories and warnings canceled. We've been downgraded from a warning in Dane Dane County just because the snow threat has really lessened for this evening. It's backed off quite a bit. That's a good thing for folks that were hoping to try to get out and about this evening or get out early on Sunday. If you're hoping for a little more snowfall, that's really going to be along the eastern edge of the area where this winter storm warning is still in effect for parts of Jefferson and Rock County. These go until 6 o'clock Sunday morning. Looking at our high resolution Doppler, the warnings and advisories in effect really line up with where we're currently seeing the snow. We have light flurries right now in Madison. There's a little more significant snowfall for areas to the east, and the closer you get to Milwaukee, they're dealing with a little bit of a lake effect there, helping with the snow coming on through. Over the next few hours, the snow is going to continue and then gradually taper off the closer we get to midnight. Once it finally comes to an end, things will be cleaned up for your Sunday. Starting Sunday off with temperatures in the low teens. It'll be a little cold early on, but our winds thankfully will be diminishing, so wind chill won't be as much of a factor for early on Sunday. In the afternoon, we have partly sunny skies, but in the evening, we're going to become mostly cloudy with a small chance for some light snow Sunday night into Monday. Most of it stays north of Madison, but for most of southern Wisconsin, we're going to see accumulation totals right around an inch heading into Monday morning. It's a little larger blob sliding through, but it's going to be more of a consistent light snow rather than bands of heavy snow passing through into early Monday. For Monday, things are going to be pretty calm. Afternoon highs will be close to freezing. Overnight lows tonight dropping again into the low teens. The snow coming through Madison is adding about 1 inch to 3 inches on top of what we already had come through last night. It's still windy outside, 15 to 25 miles per hour with gusts even higher, so do know that blowing and drifting snow is going to be a concern even as we get things cleaned up heading into Sunday. Tomorrow, high temperatures will be in the mid-20s, so all this snow will stay. It's going to get a little crunchy outside, too, when we have temperatures in the 20s. Everything's going to refreeze outside. For Monday, though, temps climb above freezing, and Tuesday, we're going to be closer to 40. We've kind of bumped our temperatures up there on Tuesday. This afternoon event is going to be rain. It may mix with a little bit of snow at night, but right now it does look like a rain showers event. Heading into the end of the week, we're looking at a little cooler stretch. We'll watch our temperatures drop back a little bit and a few more opportunities for some light snow for late on Wednesday and heading into Friday and Saturday. But they won't be big systems coming through, similar to what we're expecting for Sunday night, maybe an inch of accumulation.
All right, and most of that snow out there, it's going to stick around for a little while.
Yeah, we're going to see it at least for a few days.
All right, thank you, Dana. Still ahead on News 3 Now at 6, the Badgers throwing a Potter party at Penn State. Highlights and postgame from a big road win. Next in sports.
News 3.
Well, when Micah Potter hit the court for the first time in a Badgers uniform on December 21st, we knew it was going to take some time for him to get back into the groove. Greg Gard even told us so. Well, welcome to the groove. The Badgers on the road at Penn State, but this was a Potter party. We pick it up late in the first half. A little roomy love here. Brad Davison over to Potter. He drains a three, one of his 4 on the day. Second half now, Kobe King finding Nate Reavers for the two-handed slam. Badgers up 6. Potter helping the Badgers beat the 20th ranked Nittany Lions, and head coach Greg Gard crediting Davison and the guards for their efforts.
Bigs were engaged, and we need guards to crack down to clean some of that stuff up, and he's as tough as they come when you want to have a fight for the ball on the glass.
I mean, when you're hitting the shots, guys have to close out harder to you, and so it gives you a more easy ability to get to the hole. So I was just glad I was able to provide a spark, because like you said, it was a slugfest. It was 0-0, I think, before the first media timeout, so I was glad I could provide that spark for our team.
Appropriately enough, Potter and Davison both leading the team today with double-doubles as Wisconsin beats Penn State for the 13th time in a row. Next up, Badgers host 12th ranked Maryland on Tuesday night. Women's hockey team stunned on the road at Bemidji State, losing 3-2 to split the series. Border battle at LeBon next weekend. Well, it's going to be downright chilly tomorrow night at Lambeau in the 20s and particularly some snow late. The team's still asking for 350 volunteers to help shovel the stadium tomorrow morning so that Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson will be able to see the field. Several of the players were asked a lot of times this week how the weather will affect their game plan, and honestly, it doesn't really seem like it's going to be a big deal at all, even for Texas guys like Aaron Jones.
Just keeping those legs moving. At the end of the day, when those feet stop, it's kind of when the play stops. So you keep those legs moving, good things will happen. And I mean, it's cold, but it really doesn't affect me. It's my 3rd year here, so I'm kind of used to it now. So it's all good to me.
In the other NFC divisional game, Minnesota's Magic running out tonight at San Francisco. They just lost, so that means if the Packers beat the Seahawks tomorrow, Green Bay will travel to San Francisco next weekend. And later tonight, right here on News 3 Now, the AFC divisional playoff game between the Titans and Ravens. Well, we love when people do cool things like this, making a half-court shot at Madison Square Garden last night. This fan, he won $1,000 in the lottery tickets, which is pretty neat, but also, we were talking about this earlier, that's not necessarily guaranteed money. Not being selfish or anything, but like, you know, $1,000, you might win like a $1 out of that. You might win $1 million out of that.
What if you just get like, okay, you get $2.
He's so hyped, though.
I know. You still made a half-court shot at Madison Square Garden. That's still cool, I guess.
It's still pretty cool, but I would rather have the $1,000.
The actual money, yes. So right now, of course, we're talking about snow coming through for the next few hours, mainly southeast of Madison, though we do have some light snow in Madison currently. For your Sunday, it is going to be dry during the day. Temps will be in the mid-20s. Snow will develop at night, leading to flurries for early on Monday. Another opportunity for some snow building in for late Wednesday for the middle of the week.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great night.